Okay, so first I'm going to show you my audience. Okay, so this is a persuasive speech on why breastfeeding is better than bottle feeding. So according to the World Health Organization's global strategy for infant and young child feeding, the vast majority of mothers can and should breastfeed, just as the vast majority of infants can and should be breastfed. Research has shown that there are many benefits to both the mother and the newborn when it comes to breastfeeding. As a future nurse, I want my practice to be all evidence-based. Through my research, I have come to believe that breastfeeding is better than bottle feeding. I have sat in many classes regarding breastfeeding, talked to other healthcare professionals, shadowed on a labor and delivery floor, and have done research on my own. Babies are being born all the time, and mothers are given the choice to either breastfeed or bottle feed. Breastfeeding is always the better choice, unless there is a severe contraindication. Breastfeeding benefits both the mother and the newborn more than bottle feeding, and it is even recommended by many well-known organizations like the American Academy of Pediatrics and the Center for Disease and Control Prevention. The research and evidence on the benefits of breastfeeding is growing steadily. Let's first take a look at why the breast milk is preferred over store-bought formula. Breast milk provides more nutrients to the newborn than the formula would, which benefits the newborn more. Human milk contains all the vitamins required for infant nutrition, with individual variations based on maternal diet and genetic differences. However, all breast milk is composed of all the complete nutrients, and according to SETI, the combination of fats, proteins, carbohydrates, other nutrients, and growth factors are all essential to fully satisfying the nutritional needs of infants and children. Firstly, a newborn needs carbohydrates, and lactose is the primary carbohydrate in human milk. A newborn also needs protein, and the protein component of human milk is ideal because the amino acid composition of human milk is suited to the newborn's metabolic capabilities. The fat in human milk is also easier to digest and absorb. Like us adults, newborns need a proper amount of water intake. According to Pilatari, newborns need 80 to 100 milliliters per kilogram per day of water, and human milk contains about 87.5% water. This means that they don't need any additional water given to them. By exclusively breastfeeding, you're eliminating the newborn's exposure to potentially contaminated water as well, which decreases the likelihood of diarrheal disease. Another important feature of breast milk is it has many anti-infective properties, meaning it receives the mother's antibodies and helps develop the newborn's immune system. Specifically, colostrum is known to be rich in immunoglobulins. Colostrum is the first secretion from the breast, and it comes before the actual breast milk. This colostrum is what the newborn will first intake, and it benefits the newborn in numerous ways. It is easily digested and strengthens the newborn's immune system. It is even more concentrated than mature milk and has a higher concentration of proteins and minerals. Both direct and indirect immunological benefits help protect against diarrhea, acute respiratory infections, and even middle ear infections. This is a result of the newborn receiving leukocytes. Along with that, the growth factors in the breast milk that promote the growth of essential bacteria and anti-infective agents, such as macrophages and antibodies, are actively destroying pathogens. SETI also points out that breastfeeding may reduce the risk of diabetes mellitus. This is because the store-bought formula contains breast milk substitutes that actually increase the onset of diabetes mellitus. Now, keeping those facts in mind, the newborn benefits from breast milk in even more ways than just nutrition. The newborn experiences behavioral, physical, and psychological gains when breastfed as well. There are significant physical benefits for a person who is breastfed. For example, Mansbacher states that breastfeeding leads to less obesity and cardiac risk factors in adulthood. The nutrients in breast milk promote a child's growth and development better than substitutes found in formula. There is also a lower protein intake and energy metabolism in breastfed babies. Research has also found evidence that breastfeeding decreases the risk of high blood pressure, allergies, SIDS, skin irritations, and even cavities. Breastfed children also exhibit fewer behavioral problems such as stealing, lying, hyperactivity, and anxiety. Research has discovered that children who weren't breastfed didn't receive certain fatty acids, growth factors, and hormones that play a key role in the development and function of an infant's brain and central nervous system. The physical and behavioral gains are two of the many reasons why breastfeeding is the best. However, research has begun to focus on the psychological gains for children who are breastfed as well. Several studies have found that there is a better cognitive development in breastfed children. A recent study even revealed that breastfeeding can actually make a child smarter. Therefore, there is sufficient amount of evidence why breastfeeding would benefit the newborn. Now that we have a clear understanding of how breastfeeding benefits the newborn, let's take a look at the benefits breastfeeding has on the mother. The mother who is breastfeeding also receives a plethora of benefits during the postpartum period and in her future. The mother who breastfeeds will have an increased release of the hormone oxytocin due to the sucking stimulus. The release of oxytocin stimulates uterine contractions, which help expel the placenta and decrease blood loss in the postpartum period. It also helps with uterine involution, which is when the uterus shrinks and returns to normal size. Uterine involution is very important, and if it doesn't happen properly, it can lead to life-threatening complications like a postpartum hemorrhage. It has also been found that breastfeeding helps the woman return to her pre-pregnant weight sooner. I don't know about you, but that sounds great to me. Also, breastfeeding saves money. Having a child can be expensive, so saving money in any way possible is important. According to Mansbacher, a woman who breastfeeds saves an average of $800 per year. Also, there was a big difference in average medical costs. A mother who breastfed spent an average of $4,000 per child, while a mother who didn't breastfeed spent an average of $68,000 per child. That's a huge difference and a lot of money saved. A saving over $60,000 could allow your family to take more vacations to Hawaii or Jamaica. So, a mother who breastfeeds will save a lot of money, lose weight faster, and prevent the onset of postpartum complications. On top of that, there are long-term benefits of breastfeeding on the mother. The long-term benefits have recently been researched, and evidence shows that breastfeeding can actually decrease the risk of getting a hip fracture and even osteoporosis. Women just have better bone health and a greater bone density after they have breastfed. On top of that, breastfeeding has also been associated with a lower risk of both epithelial, ovarian, and breast cancer. It has been found that women who breastfeed have a 14% decreased risk of getting breast cancer. A study on this was just recently published in July of 2017, and Dr. Jordan reported that research that breastfeeding could directly reduce the risk by suppressing ovulation and reducing estrogen levels, and in turn reducing cell division in the lining of the uterus. Cancer is a tough subject and affects millions of people around the world. Breastfeeding is one of the ways we can take to reduce our risk of becoming one of those millions. Reducing our risk in getting these diseases are significant. However, there is one more major reason why breastfeeding is better than bottle feeding. A mother carries her soon-to-be child for 40 weeks. When she has her child, they are now separated. The mother may be sad because she was carrying her baby and she always had it and is now separated from him or her. Breastfeeding can enhance the mother-newborn bond and help the mother from becoming depressed. The emotional interaction between the mother and child lays a groundwork for the potential of feeling more secure and confident as the child develops. The child will have a foundation of safety and attachment early in life, which can lead to success in every area of their lives. When I have a child, I will do whatever is best and beneficial for him or her, and breastfeeding is a great start. In discussing how breastfeeding has many more advantages than bottle feeding, I hope you're persuaded to advocate breastfeeding to friends and family, and breastfeed if you're pregnant or planning on becoming pregnant. Breastfeeding is the best way to go, and the list of reasons why is growing every year. The nutritional, physical, behavior, and psychological benefits on the newborn are significant. The postpartum and long-term benefits on the mother are significant, and the enhancement of the mother-newborn bond is significant. There are extreme cases when breastfeeding is not recommended, but every woman should be breastfeeding if they can. According to studies, babies who are breastfed have a lower risk of death both in infancy and in early childhood. Breastfeeding has the potential to save lives, and I hope you are able to say that you helped to save a life.